A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the deductions made by Horatio F. Horn seem well-founded as Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and the amateur detective arrive at Professor Sturgeon's house to find the noted scientist mysteriously missing.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, good as gold is a comparison that's been kicking around for a long time. But it sure does take on new meaning when you apply it to that sunny breakfast cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Why, Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal. It's golden to look at, good as gold to taste. Yes, sir, that sparkling sunshine flavor sure does give your morning appetite the old 1-2. And are those whole wheat flakes tender? Are they crunchy? Are they terrific? Believe me, the spoon that comes up filled with Kellogg's Pep goes right back for more. In double quick time, your bowl is polished off clean as a whistle, which is always a good idea, because Pep is good for you. Gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. And it's particularly important nowadays not to waste cereal, because we're sending the cereal grains to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls all over the world. Think of that when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Don't waste it. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and finish off every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When an obscure local correspondent for the Daily Planet from a tiny hamlet, an eccentric little man who introduced himself as Horatio F. for French, Horn, claims to have intercepted and decoded a mysterious message indicating that Professor Alonzo Sturgeon, famous atom bomb scientist, is in danger, Editor Perry White ordered him out of the office. But Clark Kent and Lois Lane thought there might be something in Horn's story. Unable to reach Professor Sturgeon by phone, Kent drove Lois and Horn to the scientist's suburban home. As we join them today, they are in Professor Sturgeon's wrecked study, amid unmistakable evidence of a recent struggle. Listen.
What do you think happened here, Claude?
I'd say someone put up a terrific fight, Lois.
Yes, indeed. A simply terrific fight. And I'll wager my favorite mustache cup against a buffalo nickel it was Professor Sturgeon.
Well, it could be, but whom was he fighting, Mr. Horn?
Yes, and why?
I can't say whom exactly, but I can say why. The reason is, of course, perfectly clear from the telegram I decoded.
Oh, yes, clear as mud.
Would you mind repeating that message, please, Mr. Horn?
Not at all, sir, not at all. Let me see. I should have it here someplace. That's strange. Now, what did I do? Oh, yes, here it is. It says, Airship Big Fish Atom not later than July 2nd, signed ISS.
And you figure Big Fish Atom to be Professor Sturgeon.
Precisely. Doesn't Big Fish and Atom mean Professor Sturgeon, atomic scientist to you, Mr. Kent?
Well, assuming that what you say is correct, especially since Professor Sturgeon has mysteriously disappeared on July 2nd, the date mentioned in the telegram.
If that's true, hadn't we better call the police?
I was just about to suggest it. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Listen.
Oh, yes.
Is that something noise?
Yes. By Gulliver, it sounds like a...
Clark, what do you think it is?
A man bound and gagged, locked in a closet in the hall.
What?
Follow me.
Peculiar. I was about to venture the same guess.
I'm not guessing.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you can see through walls like Superman.
Ridiculous. Mr. Kent must be endowed with a sixth sense.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Now, look here, Clark.
Here we are.
That's just-
See, the key's in the lock.
I'll open it.
It is a man.
And he's bound and gagged.
All right, mister, all right. Relax. I'll have your gag undone in a second. Mr. Horn, Lois, untie his arms and legs.
All right, Clark.
One moment. I'll use my pocket knife to cut those ropes. My detective course taught me that knots can be valuable evidence.
Oh, you and your detective course.
There you are, the gag's off.
Now, oh, thank you, sir. Oh, what a horrible, nasty thing to put in one's mouth.
There you are. Your hands are free.
And your legs.
Oh, how wonderful. I was beginning to feel something like, well, you know.
Yes, of course. Now, tell us, who are you?
Well, before I reveal anything to you, it's my duty to ask first, who are you?
Well, of all the
I'm
nerve.
Clark Kent. This is Miss Lane and Mr. Horn. We're reporters from the Daily Planet. We came out here to see Professor Sturgeon.
Oh, poor Professor Sturgeon.
Why?
He fought so valiantly with those awful men, but they overpowered
What
him.
men?
What did they want?
Please, start at the beginning and tell us what happened, will you?
Very well. You see, I'm Breckenridge, Professor Sturgeon's man.
Yes.
His valet and butler, you know.
Yes, go on.
Well, early this afternoon, I answered the doorbell to find several gentlemen who wished to see Professor Sturgeon. I told them that the professor was at work in his study and had left word that he was not to be disturbed, but they insisted.
And Professor Sturgeon saw them?
Yes. It appears that they represented a scientific group of some sort, or at least they claim so.
What was the name of the group? Do you recall?
No, sir. The name escapes me at the moment.
We'll come back to that later. Go on, Breckenridge.
At any rate, they had with them a medal which they showed Professor Sturgeon and which they said was to be presented to the professor this evening at a meeting of their group.
This evening, eh?
That's right, sir.
Who started the fight?
Well, I'm coming to that, miss. It happened when Professor Sturgeon declined the honor.
Why?
Oh, I can't tell you, sir. I was called away to answer the telephone at that moment. And then I heard heated quarrel in the study. I rushed back here and Professor Sturgeon's callers were threatening him.
Oh, they were, eh?
Yes. He ordered them to leave. Instead, one of them pulled a pistol from his pocket. This made Professor Sturgeon furious. And he threw a paperweight, knocking the firearm from the man's hand.
Good heavens.
A brave man, Professor Sturgeon. A brave man indeed.
Brave but foolhardy. Then what happened?
Oh, General Malay, a battle of fisticuffs followed, in which Professor Sturgeon and I were no match for our more burly assailants. A blow on the head knocked the poor man unconscious. And while two of them carried him out to a waiting vehicle, that's a light truck, you know, another fetched me a blow on the head. When I awoke, I was as you found me, trussed up and locked in that closet.
Now, by Gulliver, do you believe that the message I intercepted really indicated danger to Professor Sturgeon?
Certainly do. Look, Breckenridge, did any of those men identify themselves by name?
Let me... Oh, yes. One of them asked to be announced as Dr. Leon Carlos.
Leon Carlos.
Yes, sir. A swarthy person, rather a Latin type, I would say.
Aha, a Spaniard.
Now, don't let's jump to conclusions, Thorne. Think, Breckenridge. Maybe you can remember the name of the society he claimed to represent.
Sorry, sir. I can't for the life of me remember it.
That's too bad. Did you notice anything special about the truck?
No, sir.
Oh, surely you noticed the license number, Breckenridge. That's the first rule in crime detection.
I am not a detective, sir, but a gentleman's gentleman. Besides, I was much too busy trying to defend myself.
But you
Skip
should
it,
have...
Mr. Horn, skip it. Look, Lois, we'd better contact the police at once.
Right,
Suppose
sir.
you call Inspector Henderson, huh? Give him a fast resume of what's happened here and suggest he rush out in a hurry.
Okay. Where's your phone, Breckenridge?
This way, miss. Will you follow me?
Now, what was the address to which that code message was sent, Mr. Horn?
Let me see. Oh, yes, here it is. Maple Lodge, Nashville, Blue Mountain.
Thanks. I'll see you later.
But where are you going, Mr. Kent?
Oh, just have a look around outside. You stick around with Miss Lane, will you, and wait for the police. I better go have a look at what goes on at Maple Lodge.
Superman. Got a hunch Professor Sturgeon's disappearance means too much to world peace to leave any stone unturned. There we are. Now, up, and away!
This is Maple Lodge, isn't it?
You seen the sign, didn't you?
Yes, of course. Just making sure, you know. You live here, do you?
No, I'm the caretaker. What do you want?
Oh, nothing special. Just wondered who lives here.
Nobody here now but me, so I can't see how that's any of your business.
Well, it is my business. That is, if Carlos is here.
Who'd you say?
You know, Dr. Leon Carlos.
I've never heard of him.
Come on, quit stalling. I got to see Carlos on important business. It's about the big fish. Know what I mean?
The big... No, that don't mean nothing to me, but if you mean the guy that lived here before, he left a forwarding address.
Oh, really? What is it?
96 Walnut Street. That's in Metropolis.
96 Walnut Street. Say, do you mind if I use your phone?
Well, we ain't got no phone here, mister.
But I
said we ain't got no phone. Now beat it. There's a storm coming up. I got work to do.
I don't doubt that for a minute, pal. Well, thanks, and so long. I'll be seeing you again. I don't like that bird's looks one bit, and the way he responded to the name Leon Carlos. Something going on, all right, but what? certainly there was nothing in evidence up here at the lodge. At least nothing my X-ray examination of the house could spot. But I did catch my caretaker friend in a lie because there is a telephone there. I saw it. Well, I guess this is far enough away from him. These bushes will provide an excellent screen. Now, off with these clothes. Back to Metropolis by Superman Express. Maybe a quick look at 96 Walnut Street will turn up a clue. There we are, all set now. Up through those storm clouds. Up and away!
Zooming into the storm-darkened sky, Superman rockets toward Metropolis, and a shocking surprise. We'll rejoin him in a moment for the suspenseful climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, let me tell you about an exciting 4th of July adventure in good eating that the Kellogg Company has dreamed up for your breakfast tomorrow morning. This week's Pet Dish of the Week has an adventurous name, too. It's Peach Rocket, a slick dish that'll send your appetite skyrocketing come breakfast time. Now, here's how it goes. You line the sides of your bowl with slices of fresh peaches, so they're pointing up like rockets. Then pour on your serving of Kellogg's Pep so the tips of the peaches still shoot up at the top. Add milk and sugar, and there's your Peach Rocket, a dish that tastes as nifty as its name. Of course, it's Kellogg's Pep that makes this super combination taste super terrific. Pep is crisp. Pep is tender. Pep is full up of sparkling sunshine flavor that gives your appetite such a lift that, well, you're busy eating until you've finished off every crunchy flake in your bowl. And that's the het thing to do, especially nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure it's not wasted. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully, and eat up every bit you pour out. That's important, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Plowing his way through a heavy thunderstorm that envelops the Blue Mountains, Superman arrives finally at Metropolis. Then, resuming his guise and garb of Clark Kent reporter, he sets out for 96 Walnut Street, the address given him by the man at Maple Lodge. As we rejoin him now, Kent is walking along, peering at the numbers of the buildings, when he runs into an old friend.
Hello there, Officer Clancy.
Well, if it ain't me old friend Clark Kent, the demon reporter. And what would you be doing down in this neighborhood, me bucko?
Well, what I'm looking for at the moment is 96 Walnut Street.
96 Walnut, do you say?
That's right. You see, I have reason to believe that a party I'm looking for can be found at that address.
Do you now?
Uh-huh.
Well, what would you be saying if I told you you're standing right at what would be 96 Walnut Street this very minute?
Right in front of... Clancy, this is an empty lot.
Right you are. The building that was numbered 96 was torn down 5 years ago and never rebuilt.
Momentarily shocked at the realization that he has been duped, Clark Kent stands and gazes at the empty lot, which appears to be a dead end to the trail he hoped would lead him to the missing Professor Sturgeon. What will happen now? Can Superman find the missing atom bomb scientist before an unscrupulous power makes use of Professor Sturgeon's genius for personal gain? The peace of the world may be at stake, so you may be sure Superman won't give up. Don't miss a single episode of this thrilling story. Tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station. And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep. For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, here's a famous name that brightens up your breakfast. It's Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. Kellogg, as in Kellogg shredded wheat. What a treat. Tender, plump biscuits full up with natural nut-sweet flavor and toasted just right for extra crispness. But that's not all. Kellogg shredded wheat biscuits are just the right size, made to fit the bowl. And there are 15 biscuits in every package, each one full of swell whole wheat nourishment. Ask Mom to get you some Kellogg shredded wheat. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. Jerry of the Circus. Jerry of the Circus.
Jerry, why didn't you watch them line up? They'll be off in a second now.
I know, but I'm getting this package from under the seat. I want to have it handy.
Oh, isn't that a shame?
Well, what, Patsy?
Well, the horses were all lined up perfectly and just about ready to go when number 1, Tony M., broke out of his stall.
Looks like all of them are ready to go. They're sure acting wild.
Now Blaze is holding still. Oh, I wish they'd hurry and get in line. I'm getting terribly excited.
Blaze sure is holding still now. Doesn't he look pretty, though?
I bet he does. But you know, Jerry, while you were gone, while you were out in the paddock with Tom, that man down there in the second row in front of us made some remarks he thought were funny.
What did he say, Patsy?
Well, and he most likely heard what you told me about Blaze running so fast when he heard the bells of the fire department. He thought it was quite a joke.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't. Naturally, Blaze would run when he heard the fire bells. He was with the fire department long enough. Oh, that's just training. He can't forget it.
Oh, look, Jerry, they're all lined up now.
Yeah, and standing still, too. Boy, I'd call that a perfect lineup. They're off!
There they go. It's Blaze out in front. Morning Sun second by a head. Silver Streak third and Flash away.
Look at Blaze go. He's ahead.
You can only see that going now.
Starting into the turn, it's Blaze out in front by half a length. Morning Sun second by a length. Then Silver Streak is coming fast on the
Blaze is
outside.
leading, Jerry. Come on, Blaze. Come on.
Boy, I sure hope he doesn't get tired now. He's got a nice
At the
lead.
far end of the turn, it's still Blaze in the lead. Morning Sun second. Silver Streak is coming fast, and it's Silver Streak now in second position. Morning Sun third, and Flash Away is fourth, ahead of Tony M. and Little Star.
Oh, Jerry, why doesn't he go faster? Faster, Blaze, faster!
It sure looks like Silver Streak is gaining on him. Come on, Blaze.
Turning
Ride
into the
him, Tom.
back stretch, it's Blaze and Silver Streak, neck and neck. Silver Streak is forcing Blaze over to the rail. Here comes Flash Away overtaking Morning Sun. It's Silver Streak in the lead now, with Blaze running second by a head. Flash Away is third, Morning Sun fourth in front of our Gene, who's now in fifth position.
Oh, Patsy, he couldn't hold the lead. Silver Streak is ahead of him now. Get up there, Blaze. Come on, Blaze.
In the backstretch, it's Silver Streak in front, and here comes Flash Away overtaking Blaze. It's Silver Streak, Flash Away second, and Blaze is now third. Morning Sun fourth.
Oh, Jerry, I guess he just couldn't do it.
Come on, Blaze. Ride him, Tom. Come on, Blaze. Ah, gee, Patsy, if you only had a little more speed.
Going into the far turn, it's Silver Streak in front, Flash Away second, Blaze is running third, and here comes our Gene overtaking Morning Sun. Our Gene is driving hard and passing Blaze to go into third position.
Ah, Jiminy, now look, Blaze is fourth.
Tom is surely trying. Oh, if we can only get him up there.
Rounding the far turn, it's now Flash Away out in front. Silver Streak is losing ground fast. Here comes our Gene. It's Flash Away in front. Our Gene is second, and here comes Tony M. It's Flash Away, our Gene second, and Tony M third in front of Blaze, who's now in fourth position. Silver Streak and Morning Sun are both dropping back.
Jerry, what are you doing?
I'm opening this package. I guess I'll have to use it after all.
What on earth are you talking about? Well, what's the fire bell, Jerry?
You bet it isn't. I hope Blaze can hear it. Excuse me, Patsy. I'm going right down front next to the railing.
Jerry, stop. You can't go down there.
Oh, yes, I can.
They're coming down the stretch. Tony M is third and Chum is fourth. Blaze is now fifth and Little Star is sixth.
Hey, kid, you can't go down there by the track. Get back.
Not till I get through doing what I'm going to do. And here goes.
Coming down the stretch now. It's going to be a driving finish. Flash Away is still out in front. Howard Jean second by a head. Tony M is third. And here comes Blaze. Blaze seems to have new life. He's driving like mad. Blaze is passing Chum. He's gaining on Tony M. I don't know what's happened to that horse. He's closing very fast. He's now neck and neck with Tony M. And Blaze just passed Tony M. I don't know what's got into him, but Blaze is now passing Howard Jean. He did it. Blaze passed Howard Jean and is now second. Still driving like mad. They're now going down to the finish line. It's a driving finish, folks. It's going to be close. Blaze is closing very fast. He's head and head with Flash Away now. And that's the way they're going to cross the finish line. Just inches to go now. They're over. It looked to me like Blaze won, but it was very close. Yes, very close, folks. The officials called for a photograph. It's a photograph finish.
He did it, Patsy. Blaze won.
It looked that way, Jerry.
He did it. Blaze won the race.
But what are they calling a photograph finish for, Jerry? What does that mean?
Well, you see, they take a picture of each race. I mean, just at the line of finish, so if it's a real close race, the judges can look at the picture and see which horse really won.
Oh.
But I know Blaze won it.
Well, don't be too sure, Jerry. I hope you're right. But if it was sure, they wouldn't bother with the picture to find out.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. The photograph finish shows
It's gotta be
the
Blaze.
winner of the race and the $1,000 prize, Blaze. Blaze won the race by a nose, or I might say a whisker. Flash Away was second and Howard Jean third. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Word has just been received up here in the broadcasting booth that Blaze, who is owned by Mr. Jack Rogers, was ridden by Mr. Rogers' son, Tom Rogers.
Oh, look, Jerry. They're taking pictures of Tom.
And look at the flowers they're bringing out to put on Blaze.
Oh, you're right.
He just had to win, Patsy, and, well, he did. Come on now, let's get back to the paddock and meet Tom when he comes back there.
All right, let's go. Oh, I just can't wait to congratulate him. Well, Tom did a great job of riding.
You bet he did.
Of course, that bell helped, too, you know.
Well, now, don't say anything to Tom about that. That is, unless he says something first. Maybe he didn't hear it.
I don't see how he could help but hear it. He surely rang it loud enough.
Well, it worked, didn't it?
Yes, it did, Jerry. I've never seen a horse run so fast. Well, when Blaze heard that bell, he took off like he was a shot out of a cannon.
Wait, Patsy, we go through here.
Oh, all right. Yes, I could hardly keep track of him. He was going so fast.
The other horses almost looked like they were standing still.
Say, Jerry, how did you ever happen to think of the bell?
Well, you see, when Blaze ran after that fire department yesterday, I got the idea. I figured if he ran that fast when he heard a fire bell, it might be a good idea to have one handy in case he was losing. And, well, I was right.
You surely were. It was very clever of you to think of it. But, Jerry, if you don't want Tom to know about the bell, what are you taking it with you for?
I never thought of that. Say, will you take it and carry it under your coat, Patsy?
Surely that's a good idea. Give it here.
Here it is. Now keep it covered up.
But what are you going to do with that bell, Jerry?
Oh, I don't know. Give it to Bumps, I guess. He can put it in his prop box, and maybe someday he'll find some use for it.
Oh, here come the jockeys now, Jerry. You see them?
Uh-huh. But where's Tom?
Well, there's the boy that was riding Silver Streak. What'd you say his name was?
Oh, that's Warren. Oh. Look at him. I'll bet he's sorry now that he turned down Mr. Rogers the last minute.
He's mean, Jerry. Did you see the way he kept trying to run Blaze over to the rail and crowd him?
I sure did. But you see all that got him. I'll bet you Tom's a better rider than he is any day.
Oh, here comes Tom now.
Oh, hiya, Tom. Hey, you did it.
Hiya, Jerry.
Oh, what's the matter with you? You ought to be happy.
Well, yeah, I know, but I guess I am. I just can't believe it's true.
Oh, it is true, Tom. And I want to tell you, you were wonderful the way you brought that horse in. Simply wonderful, Tom.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Where's your dad?
Well, he's taking care of Blaze. Come on, let's walk over to the stable.
All right, come on. I want to see that horse.
Here's your lucky ring, Jerry, and well, thanks for letting me wear it. I guess it worked.
Well, it's all over now, so... Well, be happy, Tom.
Well, I am. I'm so happy I feel like crying.
Well, why, Tom?
It's wonderful, isn't it? Just think, Dad'll get the $1,000 now.
You should be the happiest boy in the world.
Tom!
Here comes your dad now.
Tom, my boy, I've got more good news for you.
Hiya, Mr. Rogers. I told you Blaze would win.
Yes, looks like you were right, Jerry.
Well, what's the good news, Dad?
I was just talking with Mr. Elston, and he wants to see you. He's going to give you a job, Tom. He wants you to ride for him. He told me he thought you were a wonderful jockey, and he wants you to work for him.
Oh, Tom, isn't that grand?
I'm awfully proud of you.
Oh, Oh, Jerry.
What's the matter?
You better look at the time. We've got to get back to the lot. Don't forget, we've got to get in that mess top before the flag goes down if we expect to get our dinner.
Hey, that's right, we do. Well, Tom, I guess we'll have to say goodbye now. We're leaving Fordham tonight, and,
Well, I sure hate to say goodbye to you, though.
Jerry, I don't know how to thank you for being so good to my boy, but I do appreciate it.
Oh, that was nothing. We had a lot of fun together.
Well, I'll be down to the circus the minute it gets to town next year.
Okay, Tom, I'll be looking for you.
So long, Jerry, and thanks again.
Good luck. Goodbye, Mr. Rogers.
Goodbye, Jerry. See you next season. Goodbye, Patsy.
Goodbye. Bye, Tom.
Bye, Patsy.
I sure hated to say goodbye to Tom.
He didn't like the idea of leaving you so much either. Come on now, Jerry. We'll have to hurry.
Rags, old fella. Glad to see me, are you?
I don't blame him any, Jerry. The way you neglected that dog of yours is a shame.
Well, I had to be out at the fair. I was working with the Rusoff troupe, wasn't I?
Yes, but poor Rags. He's missed you these last couple of days.
All right, Rags. I won't go away anymore.
Oh, say, Jerry.
Oh, here comes Bumps, Jerry.
Oh, hiya, Bumps.
Wait, what happened? Who won the race?
Who do you think, Bumps?
Yeah, what's your guess?
Oh, come on now. This is no guessing contest. Tell me quick. I've been just dying to hear. Did Blaze win?
Uh-huh. By a nose.
Well, good. Fine. Say, I'm awful glad to hear that. I'll bet Tom feels pretty grand.
I'll say he does, Bumps. And so does Mr. Rogers.
Well, now, isn't that great? Well, that's good news, Jerry.
All right, Rags.
You see, Rags has been looking all over the backyard for you, Jerry. He thought you deserted him.
Say, if you two will excuse me, I'm going to tidy up a bit before dinner. I'll see you both in the mess.
All right, Patsy. Oh, the flag's up already. You hungry?
Boy, I'll say I am.
Well, come on, then. Let's walk over.
Come on, Rags. Look at him go.
Yeah. Oh, say, Jerry.
Yeah?
Did you happen to take in the sideshow out at the fairgrounds?
No, why?
Well, there's a fella out there, a strong man named Belko. And Mr. Randall just took him on to take the bearded lady's place with our sideshow.
Really, Bumps?
Mm-hmm. He's going to open tonight. I hear he does a very clever act.
Say, I'd like to see it. Wouldn't you?
Yep. Yeah, I would. What do you say if we get over there at the Midway after we have our supper and kind of take it in?
Okay. Say, what kind of an act does he do?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I guess he does the usual weightlifting and things like that. However, I did hear that he's different than any other strong man. Well, at any rate, it'll be well worthwhile seeing.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitarium. What you will hear in the next half hour represents either a magnificent hoax or the true explanation of the famous Grimshaws Sanitorium scandal which made the headlines back in 1947. The manuscript upon which this account is based was removed by the New York State Police from a fountain pen cover found in the doorway to Dr. Grimshaw's study. We offer this manuscript as evidence only. Whether it is authentic or not, you must judge for yourselves.
My name is John Dougherty. I'm a graduate of Hamilton College, class of 34, a member of Theta Alpha. I'm one of those fools who wanted some excitement in life, so instead of going into my father's shoe business, I became a private detective. These are facts. You can check them if you like. The rest of what I write here is so fantastic that I don't expect it to be believed. If anyone should find this manuscript and read it, all I ask is that you notify Miss Millicent Armbruster of 299 Wallace Avenue, Buffalo, that Johnny Dougherty is dead. On the evening of July 1st, Miss Armbruster and I were driving to a wedding. Not our own, although I wish it had been. It was Sunday, and in order to avoid traffic, I took the Old Mill Road, a single-lane dirt affair that runs past the Gowanda Cemetery.
Johnny, aren't you going too fast?
Not for this road. There isn't a thing around except some tombstones and...
Johnny, the gate to the cemetery.
What about it?
That hearse, look out! Look out!
We skidded for about 20 feet and slammed into the back of the hearse. The two rear doors buckled and snapped open. It was a freak. A huge oak coffin with brass handles tipped up and began slowly to slide back toward us.
Oh, how horrible.
You stay right here, baby. You okay, Mac?
You don't pay much attention to speed limits, do you, Jack?
Now, look, let's not get hung up on who was right and who was wrong. I was going too fast, and you were traveling without lights after dark.
Let's see your driver's license.
All right, here.
Oh. Private eye, eh?
Now, if you don't mind, who does this joy wagon belong to?
Gowanda Funeral Service. It's being rented to Grimshaw.
Who?
Grimshaw from the private sanitarium.
Mind if I ask what you were doing after dark coming out of a cemetery with a wooden kimono?
We're moving one of Grimshaw's patients to a new grave.
They always travel like this?
Look, Hawkshaw, how about skipping the third degree and giving me a hand getting this box back in the wagon?
A pleasure. Better screw on that cover again. It's going to slide off.
Let's get it in the hearse first.
Okay, Junior. You get on that end.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, lift.
Just slide it.
Oh, brother, who's in there, King Kong?
Look out for the cover.
I told you that would happen. What's the guy's name, Junior?
Oh, why don't you ask him, Sherlock Holmes?
A real wise guy, huh? I've got half a mind to report this accident.
Yeah, well, go ahead. See where it gets you. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'll deliver the body.
Everything all right, Johnny?
I thought so until a few seconds ago. Listen, Millie, can you sit here in the car for another 5 minutes?
Where are you going?
For a stroll through the cemetery.
Oh, Johnny, stop making jokes.
When we lifted that coffin back on the meat wagon, I got a good look inside it.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly how I felt. I figured we'd knock the stuffing out of the corpse, only I didn't expect the stuffing to be sand.
What?
Yes. That wasn't a body, that was a dummy stuffed with sand, a dummy with a wax face.
Johnny!
Which brings up an interesting question. Who's supposed to be in that box, and, just where is the dead man spending his time? Sometimes in my business, when things drop off, you have to go out and, dig up new clients. My next case was a gentleman named Harlan Ward Sr., a wealthy automobile manufacturer. I'd gotten his name off his son's tombstone.
Are you trying to tell me, Dougherty, that my son Harlan
was never buried at Gowanus Cemetery?
Exactly, Mr. Ward.
But why?
Maybe if you'll tell me the circumstances surrounding your son's death, I can help answer that.
My son was a rather impetuous young man. Tall, good-looking. After his graduation from Princeton, he began drinking quite heavily. After he got into a couple of scrapes, we sent him to Dr. Grimshaws Sanitorium in the hopes that he could be cured. While my wife and I were in Europe, we received word that he died, buried at Gowanus in our absence. Last week, my wife and I decided to have his body removed to the family vault here at Short Hills.
How'd your son die?
Suicide.
You never saw the body?
No. We couldn't get back from Europe in time. Now you tell me that his coffin contains a dummy. How do I know this whole thing isn't a plan to fleece me?
You don't. But you're a rich man, Mr. Ward, and you're perfectly willing to take a chance that I'm on the level and that your son may still be alive.
You sound very sure of yourself, Mr. Dorsey.
My fee is a $2,000 retainer plus expenses.
What sort of expenses?
However much it costs to take the cure at Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitarium. Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitarium was just outside Gowanda. Most of the cases were nervous breakdowns and alcoholics. I committed myself as a dipso, and just to make it convincing, I stopped at 5 or 6 bars on the way over. I was interviewed by Grimshaw himself, a small man with a fringe of white hair.
You understand, Mr. Doherty.
That's not my real name, of course, social reasons.
We understand. Our paid clientele is very select, and our rates are very high.
You'll be paid in cash and in advance, Dr. Grimshaw. How long does a cure usually take?
That, of course, depends on the degree of alcoholism. This is my assistant, Dr. Boyner.
How do you do?
How do you do? We are accepting Mr. Doherty as a patient. Better place him in the ward with Mr. K and Mr. Craigie. Mr. K is a long-term patient, Mr. Doherty, a highly intelligent man, formerly a professor of plant pathology. Mr. Craigie suffers mild delusions. I think you'll find him rather amusing.
After about 3 days, my roommates Arthur Kay and Craigie got used to me. And we even began to play three-handed bridge. Kay was a chronic dope addict, an intelligent, sensitive man. Craigie was nothing but a clown. He kept a big black cat named the Professor, which he talked to as if it were human.
And so I said to her, my dear Countess, if you don't like the company of my cat, then you don't like me. She looked at me as if I were insane. But, of course, the joke was on her because I was. Professor? The professor is very sociable. Excellent company.
Except when he kills birds and deposits them in your bed. He's nothing but a feline murderer as far as I'm concerned.
See? You have insulted him, Mr. K.
Come here, Professor. Let's make friends. How about giving me your paw?
Oh! Scratch me, you black devil.
You insulted him. You hurt his feelings.
Well, just keep him away from me.
It will be a pleasure. I would advise you not to insult him again. Good afternoon and evening.
Is he always as nuts as that?
Ever since I've been here.
What's his problem?
Manic depressive. And a little paranoid, too.
How long have you been here, Arthur?
At Grimshaw's 2 years. I left for a while, but I couldn't stay away from the junk, so I committed myself again.
Did you, happen to know a patient here named Harlan Ward?
Why do you ask that? Did you know him?
I met him socially a few times. I understand he died here.
So the newspapers said. I wouldn't know.
Suicide, wasn't it?
Was it?
You're being pretty careful, aren't you?
Mr. Doherty, what would you say if I were to tell you that I don't believe Harlan Ward is dead?
What makes you so certain?
He used to share this room with us. He slept in the same bed you now use.
I see.
He was an alcoholic, doing quite well, too, from what I could observe. We all expected him to go home soon. Then one evening he had a violent fight with Craigie. Craigie accused him of snooping or something. Later that night, Grimshaw and Boyner took him out.
Where?
Where they take all the special treatment cases to the charity clinic. It's that small building on the other side of the stone wall. A few days later, we read about his death. Suicide. They said.
Just what makes you think he's still alive, Arthur?
This? About a month ago, I was in the garden next to the wall that separates us from the charity clinic. Suddenly, I thought I heard a sound, like a child whimpering. It stopped. And a moment later, this note came over the wall, wrapped around a stone.
What's it say?
Help me, for God's sake, Harlan Ward.
Arthur, how would you like to have some fun?
Like what?
Like sneaking out tonight and going over the wall to the charity ward? What do you say? It would break the monotony a little.
I suppose there's no real harm in it.
Of course not. I'd go alone, but I'll need help scaling the wall. Will you do it?
All right. I'll go with you.
All clear. Give me your hand and I'll lift you. Be careful when you drop. Ready?
Go ahead. There's a charity building over there, the one with the lights in the basement window.
Come on. Let's crawl over. Maybe we can see something. Shh. Listen. Can you make out what he's saying?
No, I can barely hear. Good Lord.
What was that?
Probably some patient having the DT.
Let's have a look. Easy, it wouldn't do to get caught now.
See anything?
Some sort of laboratory. I can see Grimshaw and Voyne and something else. But there's a child with its back toward me.
Now take it quietly. It will be easier.
Please, don't.
It will all be over soon. You won't remember anything.
No, I don't want to go.
Why not give it to him?
No.
Shut him up, boy, now.
Good Lord.
What was it? What did they do to that child?
Mother, that wasn't a child. It was a midget. The smallest midget I've ever seen.
What were they doing?
Trying to give it some sort of injection. When it resisted, Voyne knocked it out.
What do you suppose they were doing to it?
I don't know, Arthur. All I know is that when it fell, it had the face of Harlan Ward. All the way back to our room, my brain was working like some frantic pinball machine. Only the score somehow wouldn't add up. The pieces were there, all right. A crazy old doctor, a brutal assistant, a private sanitarium, and a midget with a dead man's face. I thought that when I got back to our room, I'd have some time to think about it. I'd forgotten about our friend, the happiness boy, Count Crakey.
So, I caught you.
Fine, you've caught us. Now how about crawling back into the woodwork like a good little count?
Where were you?
Mink hunting. Arthur and I like to go mink hunting at night.
You make fun of Count Crakey? I shall report you to Dr. Voyne.
You'd better not if you know it's good for you.
So, you threaten me? Me, Count Crakey? I shall scream for help. Help! Help!
Did you hurt him?
Just knocked him out.
What do we do now?
Put him to bed. Hope that when he wakes up in the morning, he's forgotten the whole thing.
And if he hasn't?
He's too crazy for them to take seriously anyway. Come on, let's get him back into bed. I went to sleep in my own room. And the next thing I felt was the sharp jab of the hypodermic needle in my left arm.
Hold it. It'll be useless to struggle, Mr. Doherty. In a moment, your motor nerves will be completely paralyzed.
What's this about, Grimshaw?
I might ask the same of you. My good friend Count Crakey informs me you and Mr. Kay decided to do some snooping earlier tonight. He followed you and saw you climb the wall.
Crakey's insane.
Mr. Doherty, that is a matter of opinion.
Crakey, what is this?
Perhaps my assistant, Dr. Grimshaw, would be good enough to explain.
Assistant?
Yes. You see, I am the actual head of the Grimshaws Sanitorium.
Count Crakey feigns many delusions, Mr. Doherty. But in this case, he is telling the truth. Count Crakey is actually Professor Ernst Hassler. Professor Hassler and I worked together in the Berlin Neurological Institute before and during the last war.
Unfortunately, my political affiliations with the Third Reich were under investigation by the War Crimes Commission. However, Dr. Grimshaw managed to smuggle me into this country, where I masqueraded as a mental patient, in order that we might continue certain experiments which were interrupted by the American Army.
I can imagine the sort of experiments you conducted.
You and your friend Mr. Kay will discover their exact nature very shortly, Mr. Doherty. It is a magnificent opportunity to serve science.
I passed out. And the next thing I knew, I was coming to in a different room and hearing the voices of Voyna, Grimshaw, and Craigie, as if from a great distance.
Pituitrin.
Pituitary.
4 cc's.
4 cc.
How are the measurements?
Reducing rapidly.
We'll operate at once. Have Voyna start the anesthesia.
Very well, Doctor. Come back.
When I came to again, I had a blinding headache. I began to wonder if Craigie and Grimshaw weren't doing something to drive me insane, because I lost all sense of perspective. The room seemed to grow in size. I don't know how much time passed, but one day Craigie came into the room with a bundle in his arms about the size of a newborn baby. The bundle was my friend, Arthur Kay. And worse yet, I was exactly the same size that he was.
Let me out of here. Let me out.
Allow me to congratulate you, gentlemen. How are you feeling?
You dirty monster.
I'm disappointed, gentlemen. Do you not feel privileged to be a part of an experiment that will place me at the very top rank of the world's endocrinologists?
What are you doing to us, you madman?
It has long been established, gentlemen, that dwarfism and giantism result from injury to or malfunction of the pituitary and thyroid glands. The interlock between these glands was thought to be a hormone. I have discovered that this was incorrect. It was an enzyme. An enzyme I isolated some years ago. I was well on the way to synthesis in Germany when the surrender interrupted me. And the interruption also limited the number and type of subjects on whom I could experiment. I was forced to find others.
Such as Harlan Ward?
Mr. Ward was only a control experiment.
I suppose you plan the same for us.
No, gentlemen. For you, I have reserved a special privilege. You, gentlemen, will be the first to test the full effects of the enzyme. In short, I intend that you, Mr. Kay, and you, Mr. Doherty, when the experiment is completed, will emerge as perfectly healthy, normal individuals. Except, of course, that you will be only 5 inches tall.
The days and nights that followed were a living nightmare. A nightmare from which Arthur and I awoke for brief periods to find ourselves in a strange new world. A huge, frightening world where everything seemed enlarged 100 times. When we finally emerged, we found ourselves imprisoned in a tiny mouse cage. Judging by the relative size of things, we could not have been more than 5 inches tall. Now we realized the experiment was at an end. That from now on, it was either escape or be destroyed.
How's it coming, Arthur? Another moment. I think I'll have this lock. Worked loose. And if we escape, then what? We'll worry about that after we get out of this mouse cage. Suppose we don't make it. At least you've written the story on that scrap of paper. Someone may find it and read it. Nobody will believe it. Then why did you bother to write it? I don't know. I suppose I want the world to know what happened to me. Help me push the door open. Now what? The first job is getting down to the floor. I think we can make it by sliding down the telephone cord. Are you game? Go ahead. I'm right behind you. Easy now. Look out. That does it. Now, if we can figure out a way to get out of the room, well, that should be... Uh-oh. Listen. Somebody's coming. It must be Craigie. We've got to hide. Here. Right in the fireplace. They'll kill us if he finds us.
Well, my friends, time for feeding. I trust that you... So, you have managed to break out. It won't do, you know. There is no way you could have gotten out of the room with the door and window locked. I know you are in here. I would advise you to save yourselves trouble and give up. Very well, my tiny friends. If you prefer to play the game of cat and mouse, then I shall be happy to furnish the cat. There is no way you can get out.
What now? He's gone for the cat. If that monster ever gets in here, we're goners. There must be... Wait a minute. What? You see that thin strand of wire running along the molding? What about it? It's the automatic fire alarm. When the alarm is tripped by a fire or short circuit, all the locks are spun so that the patients can escape from their rooms. If I can short that wire before Craigie lets the cat into the building, let's go. There's a tiny sliver of steel from the cage on the floor. I'll work with that. You keep an ear to the door. Go ahead. This insulation is tough as rawhide. Blast this stuff. Hurry up, Arthur, for God's sake. There it is. Stand away. I'm going to short it. Ready? Okay. We made it. There goes the door. Let's make a run for it down the hall. If we can get to the garden, we've got a chance. I smell smoke. The shortening has actually started the fire. Come on. Wait a minute. I have to go back. The manuscript. Don't be a fool. There's no time. Come on. You go ahead. I'll catch up. Hurry up. I'll wait in the hall. Only a second. I've got it. Come on. There's nothing to stop us now. Arthur? Where are you? Honey? Arthur? Arthur? Arthur, what's happened to you?
This is the record found in a fountain pen cover in the burned-out hallway of Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium. There's nothing to add, except that the fire which destroyed the sanitarium and killed so many of its occupants, including Dr. Grimshaw and Dr. Voyna, was definitely of incendiary nature. It is believed by the fire chief that some small creature, possibly a mouse, chewed the insulation off the wire and short-circuited the system. The two patients, John Doherty and Arthur Kay, vanished completely after the fire, and their remains were never found. Whether the manuscript which you have just heard is authentic, or whether it was the work of one of the more demented inmates of the sanitarium, we leave to your judgment. You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. X-1.
When Jerry Hall, Mrs. Gregory, and Captain Bradford sailed from Los Angeles in search of a mysterious hidden island, they found Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little girl, Joan. The rest of their discoveries are almost unbelievable. The Gregory yacht was pulled to the island by a powerful magnetic force and is now tied up there, with all on board prisoners of the mad scientist G-47. Mrs. Gregory and Joan are in one cabin on the yacht, while Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry talk excitedly in the radio cabin.
Yeah, I got it all right, but I still don't see where it's going to do us any good.
Joan didn't come to the door of the cabin, did she? I mean, so that anyone could see she had her mother's dress on.
No, she was so scared of what old G-47 would do to her when he found out we had the dress, well, that she was ready to hide under the bunk.
Well, we'll see to it that G-47 doesn't have a chance to do anything to her. Now, we'll have to work fast, because by now someone on the island probably knows we have the dress and heard all we said about it. So hurry and get your head into it. No, not that way. Just pull the skirt over your head. That's better. Now I'll get under it, too.
Good thing these dresses are plenty big and loose. But it's going to be mighty hot in there awful quick.
And we'll be done with our little job mighty quick.
What good can we do with this dress? You said just now they'd know we had it.
We've got to hurry, so listen closely while I explain it.
This is the nuttiest thing I ever heard of. What would people think if they could see us with a girl's dress wrapped around our heads, using it for a hood?
Well, it may sound foolish, but the material of this dress of Joan's is the first ray of hope we've had. Now we can talk in safety and make a few plans for the first time since we hit this island. I knew there must be some way to talk in privacy here.
You mean the stuff this dress is made of will keep out the sound waves? Or whatever it is they use to hear everything that goes on around here?
Yes, Jerry, I'm sure of it. You know, a good scientist never compounds a poison without knowing the antidote, for his own protection, if nothing else. Likewise, a good scientist would never devise a weapon, gas, beam, or ray, one that would be almost universally penetrating or destructive, without first protecting himself, should his own invention ever be turned against him.
But those sound waves they hear through walls and clothing, Well, they're not destructive. Well, they don't hurt anybody, even if they do let old G47 hear all we say.
That's true, but it makes everyone on this island virtually a prisoner. No one has any privacy, even in your own room. Every sound and action is recorded somewhere in their laboratories. Nevertheless, we may safely reason that G47 and his leading assistants, the brains of this mad setup, must have privacy. They conduct their experiments and discuss plans without the remainder of the colony hearing them. They must.
But how do you figure the cloth this dress is made of is the stuff they do it?
Every suit and dress on the islands, every bit of cloth I've seen here is the same stuff.
But G47 put Joan to sleep with that harmless ray just as easy as he did me. And her dress is made of that stuff.
Yes, but if you had been awake to see her get the ray, you would probably have seen him point at her head or hands.
What is this cloth, anyway? I mean, where did he get it?
We'll find out in time, but let's hurry with this plan. Someone might decide to board the yacht just to make sure we're behaving ourselves.
Okay, Tex. What are we going to do?
All right, here's the setup. When we get out from under this dress, we'll take it and put it over the radio. Be sure it's under and around the whole thing.
I got it. Then one of us can put our head inside the dress and work the set. And G47 can't tell we're doing it.
I'm going to let you do this. You know what to say to Johnson if you get him. Give him our position and say to stand by for information on how to rescue us. Tell him not to attempt rescue without instructions.
Gee, then what can Johnson do if I do get word to him?
He can't do anything now, but we've got to figure how to get control of the power on this island. We could use their knowledge for the greatest scientific age in the world, but I feel sure that their intentions are not to aid the world, but to destroy it.
Oh, golly. Let's get going.
Now operate the set on the usual wavelength, and I'll set the directional beam reflector due north. We're outside of the listening post around the inner circle of the island, and this beam won't make the slightest disturbance anywhere except due north. The set is all warmed up now.
All ready now.
All ready, son. And we'll just slip out from under this thing and cover the set with it. Then I'll go out on deck and stroll near this cabin door in case everyone gets curious. Go to it, and don't talk to me again. Don't say anything until you're covered up with that set. Inside this dress now. Then send the message. Now, out we go.
Gee, it's a mighty tight squeeze in here. Guess I'm ready to go. J12C, J12C, J24Y to J12. Jerry Hall on J24Y, calling J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12. Oh, golly, something's wrong. I can't raise him. Well, guess I'll just have to try again. J12C. Hello.
To J24Y. Hello, J24. Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead.
Boy, here he is. Hello, J12C. This is Jerry Hall on J24Y. Captain Bradford wants you to get this. Copy it. Repeat. Then stand by. Here it is. Our position. Latitude 29 degrees south. Longitude 124.30 west. Danger here, but do not attempt rescue. Stand by for information on how to rescue us. Get that? Do not attempt rescue without information. Repeat, J12.
J12C to J24Y. Repeating. Your position, 29 degrees south, 124 degrees, 30 minutes west. You are in danger. Standing by for information how to rescue. Confirm, repeat.
Okay, J12. Repeat, okay. Jerry Hall standing by for Captain Bradford. That's all, J12. Now I can get out of this dress. Oh, boy. That feels better.
Hello, kid. How did you enjoy your rest?
Oh, I had a swell sleep, Tex. I dreamed I used this radio set again, but nobody was spying on me. I talked to Johnson in Los Angeles, and he knows we're here.
Great dream, son, but there's no chance of it ever coming true the way we're watched. G47 knows all we say and do. I wonder.
Maybe it's one of the crew.
No, they're all asleep.
Shall I open it?
Wait a minute. I'll hide the dress.
Oh, heck.
I might have known it.
You must pardon my rudeness in entering unbidden, but as long as anyone could have seen and heard all you were doing through the portholes you so kindly left open in every cabin, I surmised you were not discussing anything secret.
Just discussing our situation here and wondering how long it'll be before we can get away from this island. You knew we would be discussing that without my telling you.
Precisely. And even if I could not see that you have Cleostra's dress there, I would know that the material of the dress had been used for some purpose.
How would you know that?
Never mind that, Jerry. It's enough that he knows we were using it. And, of course, he knows why we were using it.
You displayed some small intelligence in your ideas about the material, Captain. And you have undoubtedly discovered that the fabric is impervious to beams and rays of our sound and light transmission spectrum.
I have. That didn't take much figuring.
Tomorrow, you may visit the laboratories where the fabric is made. You may have enough of it to drape the inside and outside of this boat, if you wish. I have no desire to intrude upon your privacy. I merely came to warn you that while your childish and unsuccessful attempts to reach the outside world merely amuse me, your first successful attempt will mean your end.
Well, we're going to try it just the same. You can't get away with this forever, and you know it.
Steady now, Jerry. No use losing your head about it. Well, G47, I want to tell you plainly that if there is any way I can get my friends out of your grasp, I'm going to attempt it.
You are a fool, Captain. A brave one, possibly, but nevertheless a fool. Your life would mean nothing to me.
I happen to know better, for I have something you want.
Yes, you clever meddler, you have. And you know that I will keep you alive until I wrest your secret from you. The only thing in the universe we Euclideans have failed to master. And as long as you live, I know that in some way, at some time, I will get your secret.
Well, you can't torture it out of me, and you're not a magician. How will you do all this?
The time will come when you will be glad to exchange your secret for the freedom of your friends and yourself.
Nothing doing on that. If Captain Bradford has something you want, we'll stay right on your island for the rest of our lives. All of us. But you'll never get it.
You see how it is, G47? You're just wasting your breath.
Yes, and Joan wants to stay with her mother and the rest of us. She belongs to our world, and she's going back to it with us.
Cleostra may stay with you, and she will save you a lot of worry by telling you as much about the island in an hour as you could learn by watching us work for a month. But she will have to be content with your descriptions of the world. She will never see it, except as a loyal subject of Euclidia, when we Euclideans rule the universe.
Do you mind going now? We've got things to do, and your boasting and bragging gets on my nerves.
It is a pleasure to leave such hopeless company.
Well, maybe we're not as hopeless as you think.
Quiet, Jerry.
You need not warn the boy, Captain. I heard his little radio message to Johnson.
Gee, the dress was no good, Tex.
So, the dress didn't work, eh?
The material of the dress worked perfectly, but your radio beam was intercepted as it passed through our magnetic fog.
Well, then, if you heard my message to Johnson, why did you let me give him our position and warn him of our danger?
Don't you know that radio message will bring a fleet of battleships down on you if anything happens to us?
On the contrary, you have protected me nicely. Johnson will take orders and execute them accurately. You ordered him not to move in your rescue. Your position means nothing. You had previously given him that as the yacht was held to the magnetic fog. If you had not tried this wild scheme tonight, there was a chance your Los Angeles agents might have acted on their own incentive to rescue you. But you have blocked that yourself. You have prevented your own rescue, and I will prevent your rescue.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the deductions made by Horatio F. Horn seem well-founded as Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and the amateur detective arrive at Professor Sturgeon's house to find the noted scientist mysteriously missing.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, good as gold is a comparison that's been kicking around for a long time. But it sure does take on new meaning when you apply it to that sunny breakfast cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Why, Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal. It's golden to look at, good as gold to taste. Yes, sir, that sparkling sunshine flavor sure does give your morning appetite the old 1-2. And are those whole wheat flakes tender? Are they crunchy? Are they terrific? Believe me, the spoon that comes up filled with Kellogg's Pep goes right back for more. In double quick time, your bowl is polished off clean as a whistle, which is always a good idea because Pep is good for you, gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. And it's particularly important nowadays not to waste cereal because we're sending the cereal grains to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls all over the world. Think of that when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Don't waste it. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and finish off every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When an obscure local correspondent for the Daily Planet from a tiny hamlet, an eccentric little man who introduced himself as Horatio F. for French, Horn, claims to have intercepted and decoded a mysterious message indicating that Professor Alonzo Sturgeon, famous atom bomb scientist, is in danger, Editor Perry White ordered him out of the office. But Clark Kent and Lois Lane thought there might be something in Horn's story. Unable to reach Professor Sturgeon by phone, Kent drove Lois and Horn to the scientist's suburban home. As we join them today, they are in Professor Sturgeon's wrecked study, amid unmistakable evidence of a recent struggle. Listen.
What do you think happened here, Claude?
I'd say someone put up a terrific fight, Lois.
Yes, indeed. A simply terrific fight. And I'll wager my favorite mustache cup against a buffalo nickel it was Professor Sturgeon.
Well, it could be, but whom was he fighting, Mr. Horn?
Yes, and why?
I can't say whom exactly, but I can say why. The reason is, of course, perfectly clear from the telegram I decoded.
Oh, yes, clear as mud.
Would you mind repeating that message, please, Mr. Horn?
Not at all, sir, not at all. Let me see. I should have it here someplace. That's strange. Now, what did I do? Oh, yes, here it is. It says, Airship Big Fish Atom not later than July 2nd, signed ISS.
And you figure Big Fish Atom to be Professor Sturgeon?
Precisely. Doesn't Big Fish and Atom mean Professor Sturgeon, atomic scientist here, Mr. Kent?
Well, assuming that what you say is correct, especially since Professor Sturgeon has mysteriously disappeared on July 2nd, the date mentioned in the telegram.
If that's true, hadn't we better call the police?
I was just about to suggest it. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Listen.
Oh, yes.
Is that something noise?
Yes. By Gulliver, it sounds like a...
Clark, what do you think it is?
A man bound and gagged, locked in a closet in the hall.
What?
Follow me.
Peculiar. I was about to venture the same guess.
I'm not guessing.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you can see through walls like Superman.
Ridiculous. Mr. Kent must be endowed with a sixth sense.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Now, look here, Clark.
Here we are. See, the key's in the lock.
I'll open it.
It is a man.
And he's bound and gagged.
All right, mister, all right. Relax. I'll have your gag undone in a second. Mr. Horn, Lois, untie his arms and legs.
All right. One moment. I'll use my pocket knife to cut those ropes. My detective course taught me that knots can be valuable evidence.
Oh, you and your detective course.
There you are, the gag.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, what a horrible, nasty thing to put in one's mouth.
There you are. Your hands are free.
And your legs.
Oh, how wonderful. I was beginning to feel something like, well, you know.
Yes, of course. Now, tell us, who are you?
Well, before I reveal anything to you, it's my duty to ask first, who are you?
Well, it's all the
I'm Clark Kent. This is Miss Lane and Mr. Horn. We're reporters from the Daily Planet. We came out here to see Professor Sturgeon.
Oh, poor Professor Sturgeon.
Why?
He fought so valiantly with those honorable men, but they overpowered him.
Men?
What did they want?
Please, start at the beginning and tell us what happened, will you?
Very well. You see, I'm Breckenridge, Professor Sturgeon's man.
Yes.
His valet and butler, you know.
Yes, go on.
Well, early this afternoon, I answered the doorbell to find several gentlemen who wished to see Professor Sturgeon.
I told them that the professor was at work in his study and had left word that he was not to be disturbed, but they insisted.
And Professor Sturgeon saw them?
Yes. It appears that they represented a scientific group of some sort, or at least they claim so.
What was the name of the group? Do you recall?
No, sir. The name escapes me at the moment.
We'll come back to that later. Go on, Breckenridge.
At any rate, they had with them a medal which they showed Professor Sturgeon and which they said was to be presented to the professor this evening at a meeting of their group.
This evening, eh?
That's right, sir.
Who started the fight?
Well, I'm coming to that, miss. It happened when Professor Sturgeon declined the honor.
Why?
Oh, I can't tell you, sir. I was called away to answer the telephone at that moment. And then I heard heated quarreling in the study. I rushed back here and Professor Sturgeon's callers were threatening him.
Oh, they were, eh?
Yes. He ordered them to leave. Instead, one of them pulled a pistol from his pocket. This made Professor Sturgeon furious. And he threw a paperweight, knocking the firearm from the man's hand.
Good heavens.
A brave man, Professor Sturgeon. A brave man indeed.
Brave but foolhardy. Then what happened?
Oh, General Millay, a battle of fisticuffs followed, in which Professor Sturgeon and I were no match for our more burly assailants. A blow on the head knocked the poor man unconscious. And while two of them carried him out to a waiting vehicle, that's a light truck, you know, another fetched me a blow on the head. When I awoke, I was as you found me, trussed up and locked in that closet.
Now, by Gulliver, do you believe that the message I intercepted really indicated danger to Professor Sturgeon?
Certainly do. Look, Breckenridge, did any of those men identify themselves by name?
Let me... Oh, yes. One of them asked to be announced as Dr. Leon Carlos.
Leon Carlos?
Yes, sir. A swarthy person, rather a Latin type, I would say.
Aha, a Spaniard.
Now, don't let's jump to conclusions, Thorne. Think, Breckenridge. Maybe you can remember the name of the society he claimed to represent.
Sorry, sir. I can't for the life of me remember it.
That's too bad. Did you notice anything special about the truck?
No, sir.
Oh, surely you noticed the license number, Breckenridge. That's the first rule in crime detection.
I am not a detective, sir, but a gentleman's gentleman. Besides, I was much too busy trying to defend myself.
But you
skip
should
it,
have...
Mr. Horn, skip it. Look, Lois, we'd better contact the police at once.
Right,
Suppose you call Inspector Henderson, huh? Give him a fast resume of what's happened here and suggest he rush out in a hurry.
Okay. Where's your phone, Breckenridge?
This way, miss. Will you follow me?
Now, what was the address to which that code message was sent, Mr. Horn?
Let me see. Yes, here it is. Maple Lodge, Nashville, Blue Mountain.
Thanks. I'll see you later.
But where are you going, Mr. Kent?
Oh, just have a look around outside. You stick around with Miss Lane, will you, and wait for the police. I better go have a look at what goes on at Maple Lodge.
Superman. Got a hunch Professor Sturgeon's disappearance means too much to world peace to leave any stone unturned. There we are. Now, up, and away!
This is Maple Lodge, isn't it?
You seen the sign, didn't you?
Yes, of course. Just making sure, you know. You live here, do you?
No, I'm the caretaker. What do you want?
Oh, nothing special. Just wondered who lives here.
Nobody here now but me, so I can't see how that's any of your business.
Well, it is my business. That is, if Carlos is here.
Who'd you say?
You know, Dr. Leon Carlos.
I've never heard of him.
Come on, quit stalling. I've got to see Carlos on important business. It's about the big fish. Know what I mean?
The big... No, that don't mean nothing to me, but if you mean the guy that lived here before, he left the forwarding address.
Oh, really? What is it?
96 Walnut Street. That's in Metropolis.
96 Walnut Street. Say, do you mind if I use your phone?
Well, we ain't got no phone here, mister.
But I
said we ain't got no phone. Now beat it. There's a storm coming up. I got work to do.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute, pal. Well, thanks, and so long. I'll be seeing you again. I don't like that bird's looks one bit, or the way he responded to the name Leon Carlos. Something going on, all right, but what? Certainly there was nothing in evidence up here at the lodge, at least nothing my X-ray examination of the house could spot. But I did catch my caretaker friend in a lie because there is a telephone there. I saw it. Well, I guess this is far enough away from him. These bushes will provide an excellent screen. Now, off with these clothes. Back to Metropolis by
Superman Express. Maybe a quick look at 96 Walnut Street will turn up a clue. There we are, all set now, up through those storm clouds.
Up and away!
Zooming into the storm-darkened sky, Superman rockets toward Metropolis, and a shocking surprise. We'll rejoin him in a moment for the suspenseful climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, let me tell you about an exciting 4th of July adventure in good eating that the Kellogg Company has dreamed up for your breakfast tomorrow morning. This week's Pet Dish of the Week has an adventurous name, too. It's Peach Rocket, a slick dish that'll send your appetite skyrocketing come breakfast time. Now, here's how it goes. You line the sides of your bowl with slices of fresh peaches, so they're pointing up like rockets. Then pour on your serving of Kellogg's Pep so the tips of the peaches still shoot up at the top. Add milk and sugar, and there's your Peach Rocket, a dish that tastes as nifty as its name. Of course, it's Kellogg's Pep that makes this super combination taste super terrific. Pep is crisp. Pep is tender. Pep is full up of sparkling sunshine flavor that gives your appetite such a lift that, well, you're busy eating until you've finished off every crunchy flake in your bowl. And that's the hep thing to do, especially nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure it's not wasted. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. That's important, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Plowing his way through a heavy thunderstorm that envelops the Blue Mountains, Superman arrives finally at Metropolis. Then, resuming his guise and garb of Clark Kent reporter, he sets out for 96 Walnut Street, the address given him by the man at Maple Lodge. As we rejoin him now, Kent is walking along, peering at the numbers of the buildings, when he runs into an old friend.
Hello there, Officer Clancy.
Well, if it ain't me old friend Clark Kent, the demon reporter. And what would you be doing down in this neighborhood, me bucko?
Well, what I'm looking for at the moment is 96 Walnut Street.
96 Walnut, do you say?
That's right. You see, I have reason to believe that a party I'm looking for can be found at that address.
Do you now?
Uh-huh.
Well, what would you be saying if I told you you're standing right at what would be 96 Walnut Street this very minute?
Right in front of... Clancy, this is an empty lot.
Right you are. The building that was numbered 96 was torn down 5 years ago and never rebuilt.
Momentarily shocked at the realization that he has been duped, Clark Kent stands and gazes at the empty lot, which appears to be a dead end to the trail he hoped would lead him to the missing Professor Sturgeon. What will happen now? Can Superman find the missing atom bomb scientist before an unscrupulous power makes use of Professor Sturgeon's genius for personal gain? The peace of the world may be at stake, so you may be sure Superman won't give up. Don't miss a single episode of this thrilling story. Tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, here's a famous name that brightens up your breakfast. It's Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. Kellogg, as in Kellogg shredded wheat. What a treat. Tender, plump biscuits full up with natural nut-sweet flavor and toasted just right for extra crispness. But that's not all. Kellogg shredded wheat biscuits are just the right size, made to fit the bowl. And there are 15 biscuits in every package, each one full of swell whole wheat nourishment. Ask Mom to get you some Kellogg shredded wheat. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. You are one of 4 people trapped in an isolated trading post somewhere in the Yukon Territory. The blizzard outside making escape impossible. And you know that before the spring thaws release you, before you can leave this cabin behind you, one of your companions, by consent of the others, will be killed.
Listen now as Escape brings you Les Crutchfield's story, Judgment Day at Crippled's Deer.
I think it most unlikely that you ever heard of Crippled Deer Crossing, and you would have great difficulty locating it on a map, even though the Yukon, for the most part, is vast and empty. Crippled Deer is a trading post, one sprawling pine log building, nothing more. But it's been my home and my business for 20 years now, and in the course of time I have grown fond of it, even grown fond of the bitter cruelty of the Great North. Yes, fond, too, of the long winters, snowbound, dark, when the trappers and miners have all gone outside, and we wait alone for the coming of spring. But of one such winter I am not fond. I still wake at times from dreaming of it, lie shuddering and fearful in the darkness. That was the winter of the black snow, when the horror came moaning on the wind and no man could look in another's eyes without shame and loathing and hate.
Listen, LeClaire. Listen to it. I know that sound and the gray skies and the black in the west. It's going to hit us before tomorrow morning.
Oh, it's close, all right. What do you think, Joe?
Many wolf track in snow last night. Much hunting. Bear now asleep. I think maybe one day, maybe 2, then big blizzard come.
All right, 2 days then. That's still cutting it too close. You ought to be here by now.
Real anxious, ain't you, Bella? Just can't wait. Honey, what's Marco got that we ain't got?
You wouldn't know, Higgins.
You would, though, wouldn't you, sweetheart?
At least he's got a civil tongue in his head. And he's also got a lot of things you'd give your right arm for, Higgins. He knows how to laugh and live and how to make other people laugh and live.
I'll bet he does.
And he knows how to treat a woman.
Yeah. Any woman, the way I hear it.
You shut that mouth of yours right now. I'll make you wish you had.
You will.
Higgins, in a day or two now the blizzard comes. Close the trails. And we here, then all of us together the rest of the winter. Here, this one building, no way to get out. I tell you once and for all, I will not have this kind of feeling.
Then let him shut up.
Can't take a joke.
That's enough, Higgins. You've got a right to be worried. I'm worried myself. Marco and Blakey don't have enough grub up there. If they get snowed in at that mine, they can't possibly last out the winter. And that blizzard is close. Should have come down by now.
I was just funning her, LeClaire. Sorry, Belle.
Then watch what you're saying.
Don't worry. They'll make it all right. Why, Marco Moore knows more about this country and the weather than most people.
No talk. You sound.
Well, what is it, Joe?
Dog team. Sled coming.
Marco. Must be Marco and Blake.
Where's those binoculars? Maybe we can see them when they come through the gap, huh?
Higgins, help me open the window.
Might not be them, Belle. Could be Robertson.
Not him. He's too smart a Monty to get snowed in this far from Dawson. Come on, push.
All right, here. Let me see now. It's nearly too dark to... Hey, there's a sled, all right, coming out of the gap.
It's them. It is them, isn't it?
I can't quite make... No. No, it's only one man.
Monty.
No, not Robertson. It's Blakey. But Marco's not with him.
What?
Blakey coming in alone.
Alone?
2 partner go. 1 come back very bad.
No, shut up, Joe. Don't pay any attention to him, Belle. Marco is all right.
He better be. For Blakey's sake, he better be.
I've been partners 3 seasons now, Bell. There's no reason to think anything is wrong.
You look dog team, lead dog. Marco's dog.
Pop!
He's right. He's that big husky with the white star. Marco got him 2 years ago.
Hold up the man, Jim! Bring out the girl! Like his back!
I don't know. I just don't know.
Prodigal son, gents. Starve for a fatted calf and maybe a glass of 2 rye whiskey.
Blakey.
Well, Leclerc, uglier than ever. Indian Joe, what do you have in the tribe, huh? Oh, Higgins, look at that paunch. And Belle. Ah, sweetheart, you make up for all of them. Gorgeous.
Blakey, where's Marco?
Marco? Well, ain't he here yet?
Should he be?
Well, he pulled out a few days before I did. I stayed on till yesterday working the claim. Of course, he might have stopped off someplace.
Where? Stopped off where?
Well, maybe at Jackson River. The factory at the post has got a pair of mighty pretty daughters, Belle.
You better get your dogs out of harness, Blakey, and get your stuff inside. It may start snowing.
Yeah, looks like it's building up a good one.
Say, Blakey, that lead dog there, he's new, ain't he?
Why, I guess you could call it that. That's Marco's dog. Marco traded with me. He figured I'd be running closer to the storm, so I'd need a better lead dog than he would, so he traded with me.
I see.
You see what? What's this all about? You act like it's a matter of life and death.
The 4 of us talked it over while Blakey was unpacking his sled. It didn't add up. We agreed on that. At least it didn't add up the way Blakey was claiming. He was a born liar, we knew that, and Marco should have been at the trading post by now even if he had stopped off at Jackson River. When Blakey came in, we ate, and then we waited some more. Still no sound of another dog sled or Marco.
Wind seems to be slacking off some. Blizzard ain't far off. Wind always slacks off first. Who's for game of pinochle? What's the matter with all of you? You ain't spoke one decent word to me since I got here. Anybody think I was a wolf that sneaked in out of the woods or something? Well, why don't somebody say something?
How'd you get that bruise under your eye, Blakey?
How'd you get that bruise? You sit around and stare at me for a couple of hours, and then the only thing you can think of to say is, how'd you get that bruise?
What happened? Did you get in a fight with somebody?
I got the bruise from a rock.
But how?
I was working in the tunnel. We drove. Some rock fell out of the roof, and a piece of it hit me. That's how I got it.
You're lying.
What's the matter with you, Belle?
You're lying, I said. You fought with Marco. That's how you got it.
I ain't fought with nobody. Why would I fight with him? We was partners.
Was, Blakey?
I mean, are. We still are.
What did you fight about, Blakey?
Nothing. We didn't fight about nothing.
You gotta have some reason, Blakey. Partners don't start fighting over nothing.
I mean, we wasn't fighting. Look, I don't know why Marco isn't here. I ain't his mother. Maybe he changed his mind. He said he was going to be here. That's all I know about it.
Then why isn't he? He left before you did. You said so yourself. Where is he, Blakey?
I don't know. What's the matter with all of you? You think I killed him or something?
Yeah.
What?
That's right, Blakey. We think maybe you killed him.
Oh, come off of it. You're out of your mind. You're kidding. That's what it is, a joke, huh? Me killing old Marco. That's a laugh for you.
You're going to tell us about it, huh?
About what? There ain't nothing to tell. Now, look, if I had done something, why would I come straight here where you're all friends of his, where you're expecting him?
Where else would you go?
Well, to Jackson River.
They don't have room to put a man up.
All right, I could head for Dawson or south to Whitehorse.
Storm too close, no time. Here only place.
All right, answer me one thing. Why? Why do you think I killed him?
Show him, Leclerc.
Yeah. This might be the reason, Blakey.
You've been going through my stuff. You got no right.
We did it anyway. Now, what about this?
I was going to tell you about that. I figured I'd wait and make it a kind of surprise.
Surprise?
That's rich quartz, Blakey. Must have opened up quite a pocket.
It's the richest lode between here and Mackenzie Bay.
Not rich enough for two?
Marco didn't even know about it. I stumbled onto it after he'd already left. That's why I was keeping it for a surprise.
These two, Blakey? Were you keeping these for a surprise? I gave him those gloves and that writing tablet. And I knitted that pair of socks last winter.
Well, he told me to pack up anything he'd missed, bring it along. That proves he was figuring to come here.
Why?
Well, look, I know you're worried about Marco and all.
Do you?
But you're thinking the wrong way, all of you. You're all wrong. You're mixed up.
You're saying you didn't kill Marco, but you ain't saying it very good.
Joe, show him what you found in the sled.
You've got no right to bother my things.
This.
That's your knife, Blakey?
It was a fox. I shot it on the trail. Skinned it for the dogs. That's how the blood got on it.
You skinned fox. What you do with skin?
I left it. I'm a miner, not a trapper. I don't know anything about skins. Now look, the whole bunch of you. I'm getting fed up with this. Questions, accusing me. What do you think you are, a court of some kind? I don't have to answer anything. I ain't on trial. I'm going to turn in.
Next morning, the barometer dropped again, and we knew that blizzard would hit any minute. All that day, we sat huddled around that wood stove, not talking, just thinking about Marco and Blakey. And just after dark, Blakey went outside to settle his dog team. By the time he came back in, we decided.
What are you all staring at?
Blakey, we're going to give you a trial.
A trial for what?
Jury of your peers. That's the only law we got. That's all we're likely to have till spring. Robertson bypassed us. He got on through to Dawson to beat the blizzard. It's just you and us, Blakey.
You're crazy. You ain't the law.
If you got anything to say in your own defense, any explanation...
I ain't doing no more talking. You can't do nothing to me.
Whatever you say, Blakey.
Let's vote. Get it over with.
If he won't talk, there ain't no use asking him anything else. I say he killed Marco.
One vote guilty.
2. Of course he did it.
Joe?
He killed.
That's 3 guilty, and mine makes 4. That's unanimous, Blakey.
And just what do you aim to do about it?
Well, we got to decide.
Well, I'll decide for you. You ain't gonna do nothing. And you know why? Because of this.
Grab him, Joe.
Hold it. But don't none of you move. Looks a little different now, doesn't it?
Put it down, Blakey. That rifle won't get you out of this.
It won't, huh? Well, I'd say it's made some changes already. 4-1. You felt mighty big, didn't you? Well, how do you feel now? Things is kind of even up a little, ain't they?
You can't hold us at gunpoint all winter.
I ain't figuring to. I'm getting out of here. And none of you better try to stop me.
Where are you planning to go?
That's my business. But I sure ain't going to stay around here no longer. Now, all of you, stay right where you are.
He's crazy. Where can he get to?
Nowhere's maybe, but he ain't thought that far. All he knows right now is he's going to get away.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Get your rifles. We'll go after him.
You are listening to Judgment Day at Crippled Deer, tonight's presentation of Escape. Saturday night on CBS Radio's thrilling Western series called Gunsmoke, meet United States Marshal Matt Dillon. Marshal Dillon faces another problem this Saturday, a problem as real and vital as the Old West itself, and just as full of action as well. Don't miss the exciting, unusual drama on CBS Radio's Gunsmoke, Saturday night on most of these stations. And now Escape and the second act of Judgment Day at Crippled Deer.
Tracking down a fellow man is not a pleasant thing, even though he's crazed with fear. But there was no choice. The four of us stood a moment longer looking at the door that had slammed shut behind Blakey, and then...
Ready?
Yeah, let's get it over with. Come on.
Don't let him get away.
Joe, you see, can you pick up his trail?
He couldn't have got far. He ain't had enough time. Here.
What?
Track start here. Come. It's pitch dark to me. How can you see any tracks? Me see. Come.
He seems to be heading back on the trail.
On foot, without even snowshoes. He's out of his mind.
Guilt and fear, they do funny things to a man.
Leave trail now. Turn this way. Into the woods. Come.
Run. Get away from them. That's all he could think about there in the cabin.
Crazy. Clean out of his senses.
Go on back. Stay away from me.
He's hauled up in that storage shed up on the creek bank. I saw the flash.
Why don't we leave him there? Let him get snowed in. Let him starve.
No. When a man begins to starve, he gets dangerous. He has that rifle, and there's a whole case of ammunition in that shed. He could hang around the cabin and pick us off one at a time.
Me go. Me bring him.
You think you can slip up on him, Joe?
You talk. Shoot guns. Make noise. I go.
Blakey! Get out of here. Go back to the post.
Maybe this'll shake him up a little.
You're wasting your time. I got cover and you ain't.
A dirty murderer. I'll blast him out of there.
No, hold it. You might hit the Indians. Why don't you tell us about it, Blakey? About Marco. Get it off your chest. Where did you bury him?
I didn't bury nobody.
You mean you left him for the wolves?
You don't stop saying that, I'll get every last one of you before it.
Hey, Joe must have got inside.
You come now. Everything all right. No trouble. You come.
All right. Let's go get him. We dragged him back to the post. We tied his hands together behind his back and locked him in one of the bunk rooms. Then we sat, the four of us. We didn't say much. Not looking at one another, knowing what we had to decide, putting it off as long as we could. And then it was Belle, who had been in love with Marco and was ready not to go to pieces any minute, finally brought it out in the open.
We can't sit here and put it off all winter. We gotta decide what we're gonna do. Get it over with.
I suppose you're right.
You know I'm right. What's the matter with all of you? What are you afraid of?
It's a big responsibility, Belle.
Not for me. Maybe you can feel sympathy for him, but I don't. He don't even count. 100 of him would make up for Marco.
Perhaps you're right, Belle, but what I was thinking, storm ain't hit yet, and as long as there's a chance Robertson will still come, well, maybe we ought to wait and leave it to him. After all, he's a law. It's his job.
Redcoat no come now. Blizzard too close. You go very fast to Dawson. No one spend winter here.
Joe is right. We can't figure on turning Blakey over to the police. Robertson's already probably in Dawson. And we can't try to keep him prisoner clear through the winter. I guess we all agree on that.
You know what I agree on.
So I guess we better make up our minds, huh?
Mine's made up now. You know that.
Yes, I know that, Belle.
Law of my people say, man who kills friend must die always.
I don't know, LeClaire. Killing a man in a fight or a battle when you're crazy mad, that's one thing. But doing it in cold blood like this, well, it ain't easy to face it. It ain't the same.
I guess we all feel that way about it. None of us want to do it. It looks to me like we don't have much choice.
We don't. And the sooner the better.
I don't know. Mountie might still come.
Make up your mind, Higgins. If you're afraid, say so.
What ain't that?
You agree with the rest of us then, or don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's settled then. Well, we might as well get it over with, huh?
How are you thinking to do it, Leclerc?
Well, hanging, that's the usual way, I guess. That roof pole outside the front of the cabin, we could take him up on the roof and tie the other end of the rope to that pole. And then make him step off.
How much of a fall does it take?
I only seen it done once down in the States.
Wouldn't do that. Have it go wrong. No call for him to suffer any more than this.
No, we do careful. We plan it all out,
Stop talking about it and do it. Do it and get it over with.
We're going to, Bell.
Well, get on with it.
Oh, Joe, get a ladder up against the eaves out there, huh? Higgins and me, we cut a piece of rope.
Good.
Now, I guess we better tell him.
Hang me? You've decided to hang me?
Blake.
You don't even know what you're saying. People don't sit down and decide they're going to hang somebody and expect to get away with it. You can't take the law into your own hands.
You're just making it harder for us, Blakely.
Harder for you? I'll make it harder for you when Robertson shows up.
Robertson ain't going to show up.
You're out of your minds.
We gonna have to drag you, Blakey?
You'll drag nobody. I'll walk. Let's see just how far you're planning to go with this.
All right, we go out through the main room.
Bell, you know what they're figuring to do?
Yeah.
Well, do something. Stop them. You're a woman, Bell. You're different.
I wish there were 10 of you, Blakey, so they could hang you 10 times instead of once.
Bell.
Get him out of here. Take him out and get it over with.
Yeah, come on.
She's crazier than the rest of you. It's all crazy. It's all like a nightmare.
Watch your step, Leclerc. That crust is freezing slick.
Yeah.
Like it ain't real. It really happened. Not to me, anyway.
You know, that wind has died down some.
Always does just before the blizzard hits.
All right, Blakey. Climb up on the roof.
Roof?
Yeah.
And you climb the ladder, you want us to help you.
I can climb.
You go up there by the ridgepole, Blakey, up there where Joe is standing.
Yeah, better let me help you. A lot of snow on the roof. Ain't easy with your hands tied that way.
All ready, roof tight. Everything ready.
Oh. Well, might as well we get on with it, huh?
Maybe you better tie it around his neck, Leclerc.
Huh?
Hey, you've seen it done once.
If I can remember. Hey, Blakey, come stand closer to the edge here, huh?
Careful, Leclerc. It's dark. Don't slip.
Yeah, that's fine. Right there now.
Well, it's a joke, huh? That's what... You gents are just trying to scare me so we can laugh about it afterwards.
Hold still, Blakey.
A joke.
Hold still.
A real good joke.
All right, that's fine.
That's very funny.
Looks like we're ready.
Yeah. Well, you got any last words, Blakey? I guess you better say them now. You jump now.
Joe.
You jump.
Stop pushing.
You jump now. We went inside. We left him swinging there, figured to take him down in daylight and bury him. I opened a bottle of brandy and we drank some fast in gulps. We needed it because it wasn't easy to do it. Not in cold blood that way. It didn't change much either when we stopped to think about it. It didn't bring Marco back to life, killing Blakey. Even Bell, who was crazy for revenge, was feeling sick. Then we got to thinking about Robertson, too, how he never missed stopping by before on his last trip out to Dawson. And then Joe heard it.
Dogs! Here, dogs! Sled come!
Robertson. I told you we ought to wait. Now we're in for
We
it.
gotta do something. We gotta think of something to tell him. Make up a story.
What, with Blakey still hanging out there? What story?
But we gotta do something.
All we can do is tell him the truth and hope he sees it the way we did. He's an old-timer in the North. He'll understand.
We'll make him understand. He'll be snowed in with us here. All us together for the rest of the winter. We'll make him understand.
We did right. At least we know it. I think he will.
Got a steak and a drink for a hungry man? Well?
Michael!
Why all the surprise? I promised I'd be here, didn't I, Bill? Stopped over a couple of days in Jackson River. Dang, I got snowed in. Said did Blakey make it all right? He was going to leave the mine a couple of days after I did.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you Judgment Day at Crippled Deer by Les Crutchfield, starring Lawrence Dobkin with Harry Bartell. Featured in the cast were Lou Krugman, Georgia Ellis, James Nusser, and Clayton Post. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are standing alone in a mountain village somewhere in the puppet country of Andorra, the high crags of the Pyrenees trapping the last of the daylight. And you know that in one of the stone houses facing you, behind one of the doors that is closed against you, is a beautiful woman whom you must find before she meets her death.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Kathleen Height's story, The Wall. Saturday night on CBS Radio, gangbusters reveal the true facts behind a fantastic hotel holdup in which three comical bad guys with a wicked sense of humor terrorize Manhattan hotel guests, rob them, and vanish into the night after commandeering the hotel for their own high profit without interference. Hear Gangbusters' true crime case history Saturday night on most of these stations. Listen while you work. Enjoy Young Dr. Malone every Monday through Friday in the daytime on the CBS Radio Network.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are trying to escape from a mansion on the planet Venus, where they're being held prisoners by Emil Gargoff, leader of the Cobra Gang. Suddenly, Happy moves toward a large cabinet and opens it.
Wow, is this a break, Commander? Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Happy.
Something just made me go to this cabinet. A real strong hunch.
No, Hap, take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Well, yes, sir. Well, I'm not arguing, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoyle?
All right, it doesn't matter. Let's get careful, Hap. You're pointing the gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
I'm trying to. Commander, my finger is squeezing the trigger. I can't stop it.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Boredeck. Plenty delicious, plenty good. Yes, sir, Space Patrollers, those are the words I use when I talk about Rice Chex. Now, Space Patroller, how about you?
Who, me?
That's right. What words would you use to tell me how good Rice Chex tastes?
Super keen and senior, George. That's the way Rice Chex taste to me, Captain Two-Fellows.
Swell. And hey, how about that modern bite size that Rice Chex has? What do you say about that?
Just right for a bite with a real smooth fit for a spoon.
Man, that's great. Now you have yourself a good, nourishing breakfast with rice checks, and what happens? That's it, Space Patroller. Yes, sir, gang, that's exactly the kind of blast-off you get after a nourishing breakfast with rice checks. But any way you say it, any way you eat them, out of the bowl or out of the box, rice checks are tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go.
For sweet whole wheat, try Wheat Chex.
Look for Rice Checks and Wheat Checks in the red and white checkerboard package with a full-color picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the free Space Patrol trading card inside.
Chex, rice or wheat, real neat.
And now today's Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Boredeck. On 10 planets, Space Patrol agents are ready to pounce upon known members of the Cobra Gang. But the syndicate of criminals appears to have suspended all operations, and its shrewd leader, Emil Gargoth, has gone into hiding. The name of the dread organization seems to have been dropped completely from public minds. Certainly, it's far from the minds of 2 men who sit chatting in a comfortable mansion on the outskirts of Venus City. One is the wealthy and elderly Andrew Means, retired interplanetary financier. The other is his host, the youthful-appearing Dr. Clement Borodeck, a mysterious yet popular figure in United Planet society. After a lengthy discussion, Andrew Means suddenly turns to Dr. Boredeck.
Dr. Borodek, I want to know your secret.
Secret? What secret?
The secret that has enabled you to live for centuries.
Mr. Means, are you sure you feel well?
Now, don't try to change the subject. You're a man of mystery, Dr. Borodek. You live well. Your fine mansion here, your splendid laboratory, the freedom to travel. Now, I don't know how you get your money, and I don't care. But you do have something that I want. The secret of a long life. Life 2 or 3 times beyond the normal span.
Mr. Means, a man of your wisdom certainly can't fall for this superstitious gossip about me.
Doctor, I've had you investigated. I've done some of it directly in my talks with you. No man could know so much about so many things unless he had lived through them.
I happen to have a deep curiosity and a photographic memory, that's all.
Dr. Borodek, I have documents to prove that you were living 125 years ago. Yet, today you could pass for 35. I will pay you for that secret.
Really, I don't know whether to be flattered or insulted.
Now, Doctor, I'm an old man. With the best of care and medical attention, I can't expect to live many more years. But you can prolong my life, just as you have prolonged your own. Tell me how, and I'll give you anything you ask.
I'm sorry, Mr. Means, but you let your fears and your desires deceive you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an experiment underway in my laboratory that requires my attention.
In his central office at Space Patrol headquarters on the man-made planet Terra, Commander Corey goes over reports from Space Patrol agents with Cadet Happy.
Well, from the looks of these reports, the Cobra Gang certainly seems to have gone out of business.
Yes, sir. Maybe we finally scared Gargoth into quitting.
He may have quit, but I haven't.
Yeah, but unless Gargoth does something or shows himself, how can we get him?
There are 2 reports here that merit looking into, Happy. A man of Gargoth's description was seen in Mercury City with a certain Dr. Boredeck.
Dr. Boredeck? Who's he?
Well, my personal opinion is that he's a fraud. He makes a specialty of getting into the good graces of important people.
Oh, hobnobbing with the elite, huh?
Yes, I think he's a confidence man, but he works so smoothly we've never been able to get anything on him.
Well, maybe Borodek knows where Gargoth is.
Borodek is the kind of a crook that has to appear respectable in order to operate. He might tell us what he knows about Gargoth, providing we convince him his own reputation is in danger.
Well, where's this Dr. Borodek now, Commander?
He's got a fancy estate outside Venus City.
Oh, and we were blasting off for Venus tomorrow anyway.
Right. We just arranged to drop in on Dr. Boredeck.
In his mansion on Venus, Dr. Clement Boredeck walks briskly down the corridor leading toward his laboratory. But as he enters the room, his placidly confident face assumes an expression of worry and distrust. Seated before a control panel, a huge man glowers at a series of viewscope screens, each mirroring a view of a room in the huge house. As the big man turns, Dr. Borodek's face suddenly changes. He smiles pleasantly.
Well, I see you've figured out the controls for yourself, Mr. Gargoth.
Mighty clever setup, Borodek. So while you're in this lab, you can see what's going on anywhere in the building.
Oh, I frequently have guests. It helps me maintain my reputation for being able to see into the past and into the future just by knowing what's going on in the present.
Yes. I've just watched the way you handled Andrew Means. I'm afraid you went too far, Borodek. You practically insulted him.
Of course. Nobody dares insult Andrew Means. When someone does, he's intrigued. Especially when that person has something Means wants.
Then you think he'll be back with another offer?
Of course. He's back in his suite in Venus City Hotel, brooding over the fact that I have the secret of long life. The secret he wants more than anything in the universe.
Yes. I'm amazed that he fell for the fantastic idea. He actually thinks you're 200 years old.
Why shouldn't he believe it? Didn't we make sure that his agents would find evidence of it?
How much do you think he'll pay for your secret?
If you'll let me work with him, all he has, but it'll take time.
How much time?
A month, perhaps?
I can't wait. If you can get me 1 million credits within a week, I'll give you a quarter of it.
Make it 300,000, and I'll include my latest invention, the robot suit.
Look, Borodek, let's not try to bargain. I need a lot of money, quick. You can get it from Andrew Means without involving the Cobra Gang. But you couldn't get it from Means without my connections, my agents who planted the evidence of your immortal youth. Now, shall we quit stalling?
All right, Mr. Gargeth, forget the robot suit. I can easily find other buyers. I'll settle for a quarter of anything I get from Andrew Means.
Good. Borodek, tell me the truth. Can you actually control the actions of anyone wearing that robot suit?
Of course. If you like, I'll show you how it works. We might even use it on Andrew Means.
Oh.
Have you thought of what will happen after Means buys my secret of long life and finds that he's still growing older?
What do we care? You can tell him he waited too long to use it.
That won't satisfy Andrew Means. He'll charge he's been swindled. There'll be an investigation.
Yes, you're right. Means has the influence to cause plenty of trouble. We've got to get rid of him before he knows whether your big secret is a fake or not.
Exactly. And with my robot suit, we can make it look as though Means met with a fatal accident through his own carelessness.
You mean we can make him do something that's entirely against his will?
Yes. The strongest will in the universe is powerless against the force that controls my robot suit.
Show me how it works, Dr. Boredeck.
An hour after they arrive at Venus City, Buzz Corey and Cadet Happy have complete reports from Space Patrol agents operating in the capital city of the planet Venus. In a special office at Venus City headquarters, Buzz outlines a plan to Happy.
As far as Borodek is concerned, we'll be there to find out about a former associate of his, Anton Tolver.
Then you can bring up Gargoth sort of incidentally.
Yes, but even forgetting Gargoth for the moment, we might be able to stop one of Borodek's dirty deals.
What do you mean, sir?
A very prominent and influential man has been visiting Borodek regularly over the past few weeks. He's the type of man who ordinarily would spot Borodek as a crook right off the bat and avoid him, but the doctor seems to have him fascinated.
Who is the man, sir?
An elderly retired businessman, Happy. Andrew Means. While he was active, he never had time to worry about himself, but now he keeps going from doctor to doctor, from specialist to specialist.
Is he sick?
No, he's in perfect health, but he has an obsession, Happy. He has offered doctors fabulous sums of money for every year they would guarantee to keep him alive. Naturally, no legitimate doctor has accepted this offer, but Borodek is just the type who might prey upon the fears of a worried old man. Now, come on, Hap. Let's go out and have a talk with Dr. Boredeck.
Meantime, in the library of Dr. Boredeck's estate, Borodek listens while Andrew Means continues an urgent plea that's been going on for 3 hours.
It isn't fair, Borodek. It just isn't fair. Now look at me. I haven't begged for anything in my life. But I'm begging you to sell me your secret. Sell me your secret.
Mr. Means, assuming for the moment that an extended lifespan were possible, what makes you think you would enjoy it?
What's that to you? Well, we learn as we live, don't we? But just when we learn to enjoy life to its fullest, it's taken away from us. Borodek, people think of me as a fairly good man. Isn't that true?
Yes, Mr. Means. Quite good.
Well, I've made mistakes. Give me a chance to correct them. Extend my life, Dr. Borodek. What will you lose?
All right, Mr. Means. What do you offer?
1 million credits.
When can you get the money?
I can have it here in 3 hours.
Good. When you get back, I'll administer the treatment.
Dr. Boredeck is apparently alone in his mansion on Venus City when Commander Corey and Cadet Happy arrive to question him. The doctor is quite at ease as Buzz and Happy stand in the same library where an hour before the elderly Andrew Means pleaded his cause.
Of course, Commander, I remember this Anton Tolver, but he hasn't worked for me since, a year ago, on Saturn, I think it was.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. Oh, there's something else I wanted to ask.
Yes, Commander?
Where is Emil Garga?
Emil Garga?
The man you were seen with in Mercury City 12 days ago.
I don't seem to recall Emil Garga.
And you've never heard of the Cobra Gang?
Yes, I've heard of it. But then, Commander, you have your sphere of interest and activities, and I have mine.
Andrew Means, for example.
Just what do you mean by that?
I understand Mr. Means has been visiting you recently.
Yes, he has.
Professionally?
Commander, I don't think that's any of your business.
Well, since you're so frank, I don't suppose you'd object to a brainograph test at Venus City headquarters.
A brainograph test? On what?
Your qualifications to be called doctor and your knowledge of Garga. Will you come with me?
Well, I
have a warrant, Doctor. How about it?
Really, this is most extraordinary.
Get your hands up, Corey. You too, Cadet.
That voice, Commander. It's Gargoyle.
That's right. And I've got a ray gun here, so don't try anything.
Oh, God. From your past performances, I know you aren't showing up to rescue your pal Borodek. You could have escaped while I was taking him to headquarters. Apparently you need time to put over a deal. A deal involving Andrew Means, perhaps.
You're pretty smart, Corey. Yes, Means will be here very soon.
Mr. Gargoth.
Shut up, Borodek. I'll handle this. Yes, Corey, when Means shows up, you'll have 1,000,000 credits for me. Then I'll get rid of him. And you and the cadet will get the blame for it.
Is that so?
I warned you, Corey. Borodek, get Corey and the cadet out of the library before Andrew Means arrives. Get them into the robot suits.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles reporting on the first airplane with swept-back wings used in the U.S. Air Force, North American's F-86 Sabre jet fighter. In a moment, we'll hear from George Welch, the famous test pilot of the Sabre jet. The Sabre is 37 feet long, weight 8 tons. Wings are swept back at a 35-degree angle. Top speed more than 650 miles per hour. Now, George Welch recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
I was lucky enough to fly the F-86 Sabre jet for the first time. The first time up or the 50th, every flight is important. That's why I have to keep in top shape. I like to eat good food with lots of energy in it. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex meet that test, and they taste exactly right. I think you'll like them, too.
Make sure you keep yourself ready for action, the way George Welch and lots of other famous test pilots do. Eat Rice Chex or Wheat Chex every morning. The cereals that are tops 3 ways. Tops for taste, for size, for real get up and go. That's Chex, wheat, or rice. And remember, they're tops with America's top pilots. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Boredeck. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have visited the mansion of Dr. Boredeck in Venus City, not knowing that the doctor is shielding Emil Gargoth, the head of the Cobra Gang. When Buzz asked Borodek to submit to a brainograph test at headquarters, Gargoth suddenly appeared and knocked Buzz and Happy out with blast from a ray gun. Right now, it's an hour later. Buzz and Happy find themselves prisoners in a small, locked room.
Commander, look how we're dressed.
I was just noticing, Happy.
Oh, what did Gargoth do with our uniforms?
Evidently, his plan depends on our not looking like space patrollers.
Plan?
Remember what he said just before he put us to sleep with the ray gun? He's going to use us to get rid of Andrew Means.
Well, sure, but how's this outfit going to help?
I don't know. Let's try getting out of here.
Locked.
Luckily, Gargoth didn't think of removing my ring.
Uh-oh, the electronic key.
Right. It's an electronic lock on the door. This ring may solve the combination. I'll try it. A few turns of the settings ought to tell the story.
It worked.
Yes. The door's open. Now remember, Hap. Our job is to protect Andrew Means.
Yes, sir, but what with? We're unarmed.
We'll find something. Come on.
Borodek, why are you puttering around here in the lab?
Just getting the props ready for the final act, Mr. Gargeth.
What do you mean?
I want Andrew Means to be impressed when he sees the miraculous potion that will make him live indefinitely. Here, what do you think of it?
Looks all right, but then anything would do.
I can't agree, Mr. Gargeth. When a man is paying 1 million credits for a few drops of liquid, he should get his money's worth. You'll note that the liquid glows. Isn't that a beautiful violet light?
Yes. Is it poisonous?
Naturally, and quite sudden and painless. Andrew Means will never know he's been swindled.
And when Means is finished, we force Corey and the cadet to carry him out.
And over the cliff.
You're sure you can control their movements to that extent?
You'll see.
Speaking of Corey, he and the cadet should be conscious by now.
I'll check. Let's turn on the viewscope monitor.
They're gone. They got out of the room.
Mr. Gargeth, bring that robot suit control box here quickly while I try to locate Corey on the other screens.
All right.
Up there. There. There they are, in the downstairs hall.
Here's the control box.
You work it, Mr. Gargeth, just for practice. Whatever you do, keep them from going near that cabinet. I've got some weapons stashed in it.
They're just looking around now. Can we hear what they're saying?
Yes, and after we get them under control, you can talk to them. Just throw these 2 switches.
Look, Borodek. You go down to the library and get ready for Andrew Means. I'll handle Corey and the cadet.
What do you have in mind, Mr. Gargeth?
Just leave things to me.
All right. You understand the robot suit controls, don't you? These dials and levers operate the cadet suit. The other set works Corey's.
Yes, I know. Watch me make the cadet turn to the left.
You turn it the wrong way. He's headed right for the cabinet. Here.
Well, I can do it. Just get out and let me alone.
All right, Mr. Gargeth, sure.
I wish I knew the layout of this house. Since we're unarmed, we've got to catch a Gargoth and Borodek by surprise.
I hope we get them before they get Andrew Means.
Happy, what are you doing?
Going to this cabinet, I guess. Hey, this is a break, Commander. Look what's in the cabinet. Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Hap.
Hey, something just made me go to this cabinet. A real strong hunch.
No, Hap, take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Oh, well, yes, sir. I'm not arguing with you, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoth?
All right, it doesn't matter. I'd hate to have to use a blaster, even on Gargoth. Be careful, Hap. You're putting that gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
Well, I'm trying to, but... Commander, my finger's squeezing the trigger. I can't stop it. Smoking rockets. Sure lucky you ducked, Commander. I'm sorry.
What in the universe came over you, Happy?
Well, I don't know. It was like something had hold of my arm. Commander, it's happening again.
This time you won't be able to duck, Corey.
Gargoth.
That's right. I'm in Borodek's lab, right above you, watching you through a viewscope. And I can control every move you make. You're my puppets.
It's these suits. I can feel the fabric tightening on my legs.
That's right, Commander. You and the cadet are wearing Dr. Boredeck's robot suits. Under electronic impulses, the fibers contract just like muscles. I haven't had enough practice yet to control both suits at once, so I'll merely keep you lying down on the floor, Commander. Aim, cadet.
Happy, step on that strip of rug. Move quickly.
Squeeze the trigger.
Look out, Commander!
Sorry I had to yank the carpet out from under your hat.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
You're only delaying things, Commander. And it won't do you any good to grab Happy's arm. I can still make him point the gun at you.
Happy, I've spotted the viewscope camera. The lens is right under that map of Venus on the wall.
I see it.
Pretend to struggle. When he aim's right, pull the trigger. Let go of that gun, Happy!
He can't let go, Commander. See, I'm easily controlling his arm. Lower. Lower. The gun is just above your head now. Cadet, you clumsy fool! You've destroyed the viewscope camera. It's not going to help you any. I can't see you, but I can keep you from moving until Borodek and I are ready for you.
My legs, I can't move them.
Just these controls. There. That'll hold the two of you. Oh, Commander, for your information, the viewscope screen from the library shows that Andrew Means has arrived. Borodek and I arranged for you to dispose of him and yourselves. See you later, gentlemen.
Wow. We're really in a spot.
Yes. We've got to think of a way to break the control of these suits.
Yeah, but the control is up in the lab, and we can't move.
Must be a control center in the suit itself. A unit that picks up the impulses from the control transmitter.
Where could it be? This whole suit is just like smooth fabric.
Except across the chest. It's built up heavier there. Hap, can you move at all?
I can turn my body from the hips up. That's all.
Good. I'll try to roll over on my back. And you swing down hard on my chest.
And break the controls.
It's worth a try. All right, Hap. Swing hard with your fist. Try it again.
You sure you won't change your mind, Mr. Means?
Now, you agreed to sell me some of the potion, Dr. Boredeck. I've got the money right here. Now, surely you aren't going to miss a few drops. After all, I'm giving you 1,000,000 credits.
Well, very well. Inside this Endurium canister is a sealed flask.
It glows.
Yes, Mr. Means. It glows with an immortal light.
What a pity there is so little of it.
You see now why I'm reluctant to part with even a few drops.
What if something happens to me on the way back to the city? Suppose the plastic container breaks. Do you have an Endurium container?
I think I can find one in my lab. But to be safe, why don't you drink a few drops here? Now.
Why, it's an excellent idea.
There's a small glass. I'll pour a few drops in it. Here, Mr. Means.
Careful. Thank you. Now, I just drink this. Is that right?
That's right. To a long life, Mr. Means.
Don't take that, Mr. Means. Corey! Now, look, what you've done, you spilled it. The most precious fluid in the universe.
Happy, watch Borodek.
Yes, sir.
What's the meaning of this?
Calm down, Mr. Means.
Calm down, indeed, when the space patrolers have just...
Mr. Means, I'm Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol.
You think I'm a fool?
I do, Mr. Means. You're all fools.
Gargle!
Don't move, Cadet. You either, Corey, or you get this blast gun.
Gargot, I thought you said you had him under control.
The control must have gotten out of adjustment. I brought it down here for you to test.
All right, keep him covered.
Dr. Borodek, you mean this really is Commander Corey?
That's right, Means. He almost upset our plans. That secret liquid is just the opposite of a life potion.
If one drop of that stuff had touched your tongue, you'd be lying there on the floor. But if this robot suit control mechanism works, your finish will be more exciting.
Want to carry out our original plan then, Mr. Gargot?
Yes. We'll force Corey and the cadet to walk over the cliff carrying Means.
You can't do that. You can't.
For 1,000,000 credits, Mr. Means, I could do anything. Try the control, Borodek. Make the cadet walk toward Means.
Fight it, Happy.
The way I told you to in the other room. Huh? Oh, yes, sir.
It's working. He's straining against the control.
What is he going to do?
He's going to pick you up, Means. Borodek, control Corey.
The power in that robot suit, the cadet can lift Means with one arm. But I'll control Corey, too, just to show you how it's done.
That's it. You've got them both moving now, like puppets.
Okay, Happy, rush him. Okay, Hap, that does it. Pick up that blast gun.
Yes, sir.
Borodek, why did you cut the control?
He didn't. We did. We broke him.
All right, Mr. Means. That stack of money is yours, I believe. Take it and hold on to it.
No, Commander. I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm going to give it away. This man here promised that this money would ensure me a long life.
I'm sorry, Mr. Means. This must be a disappointment to you.
No, not at all, Commander. In laboratories all over the solar system, legitimate scientists are working on methods to prolong life for everyone. This money is going to help them.
It's a fine, generous idea, Mr. Means.
I never did a generous thing in my life. I'm going out of retirement and make more money for this research. I'll see that those scientists get results, even if I have to stand over them for the next 100 years.
You know, Mr. Means, I believe you will.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Hiya, Space Patrollers. Cadet Happy here. You know, the Commander and I have been telling you all along that checks are tops for get up and go. So if you haven't tried them yet, grab yourself a good, nourishing breakfast in the morning with a bowl full of rice checks or wheat checks, and you'll see what we mean. Use just cream and sugar or slice up a big banana over them. Eat up, and zowie, you're up and at 'em like a real Space Patroller. But say, listen, here's another way I like to eat checks, right out of the box, anytime I get hungry. Yes, sir, gang, checks are top for snacks because they're tops for taste. Smoking Rockets, nothing beats that swell toasted taste. Real keen and crispy delicious. And size? Man, oh man, Chex are tops for size. Their modern bite-sized design is just right for easy eating. So, Space Patrollers, anytime you get hungry, reach for that red and white checkerboard package of Chex. Pack 'em in your pockets before you blast off for play. Pack 'em in your lunchbox for a swell recess snack time. Chex, rice or wheat, tops for taste, for size, for get up and go, and tops for snacks, too. Space Patrollers, maybe you think you don't like salads. Well, here are some that are really different. One's called Funny Bunny Salad. Fun to look at, neat to eat. Made of cling peaches and cottage cheese. Teamed up with crispy, crunchy rye crisp. Smoking Rockets, it's delicious. Tell Mom to look for these swell salad recipes and the fixings for them at her grocer's.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in the surface car speeding down a highway toward Lowell City on the planet Mars.
Looks like we're going to make it, Commander. If anyone was going to stop us, well, they've lost their chance. Commander, look!
I see it, Hap. It's an atmosphere ship, and it's swooping down right on top of us.
It's a Cobra gang, and there's no way we can fight them off.
What they're waiting for. If that ship is armed, they're close enough to blast us to pieces.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Magnetic holding field.
Smoking Rockets are picking up the car.
Well, help us. If they cut that field, we'll crash.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story, The Zero Ray, when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Stephen Robertson, and Bela Kovach. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol!
Space Patrollers, this is Commander Corey. Whenever fires, floods, or any disaster strikes your town, the Red Cross is right there to answer your call for help. Now, the Red Cross is calling on you to help keep this wonderful service rolling. I want all of you to answer the Red Cross call. Give your dimes and nickels to the 1954 campaign fund.
Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.